Just lower the bed anyways.
So y'all, you can be in here so you don't have to move it off of the table. Yes? Okay. Alright. Are you cold and in need of a very warm and soft blanket? Well, if you are, I have the most perfect craft for you that takes about 2 hours and will make you feel very accomplished once you've completed it. I'm going to be showing you how to make a tie quilt. Now, I have been making these for not very long, but they're really easy to get the hang of, and you'll understand how to make them very easily. I've watched many videos, I've done a lot of how-to research and stuff, and I've made a lot with my mom, so I know quite a bit about it. So what you'll need to make a blanket is you'll need to gather your materials, measure and make cuts, and then finally tie it together to complete your blanket. The first thing that you'll need are 2 yards of 2 different types of fleece. And they say that you should use a pattern and then a non-pattern just because it pops. And you'll see when it's finished. You'll also need scissors and a ruler or any type of measuring instrument that you can find. And you don't need a fancy cutting board like this, but since I'm on hardwood, I don't want to cut it. Alright, so let's move into the fun stuff, which is cutting and making measurements. Now, this fabric is very uneven, so I'm going to cut just 2 sides to show you how to do it, just so that the lines are matching. And even because the whole blanket will need to be cut, but for demonstration's sake, I'll only do a corner. Alright, and now that you've got now that you have all your corners cut and your blanket's nice and even, you're going to cut a 5-inch square out of each corner. And the reason you do this is because once you cut your slats, you're going to, they're not going to measure up if you don't have the corners cut. So, I'm going to use this and cut my corner. And when I have my corner cut, I usually, I don't like to measure each slat, so what I'll do is I'll take and I'll measure 1.5 inches, which is the width of each slat that you're going to be using, and I'll cut that out and use it as a template as I'm cutting to make the blanket. So, now that I've done that, I'll cut slats. Alright, and as you can see, it kind of looks like a mess because it's, you know, a bunch of material that's just cut, but once you begin to start tying, it'll come together and it'll look really, really nice. And so what I usually do is I start at one corner, and I just start tying. And I do double knots because then I know they'll stay. And so you just tie. And then when it's all completed and you've tied all your ties, you end up with a really cute blanket that has alternating colors for each different pattern. And you'll have a nice warm blanket. And like I said before, you only have to have 2 yards of fabric. You just have to gather your materials, make cuts, make measurements, and then tie it. And then you have a nice blanket that you can give as a gift, or that you can keep yourself and know that you made that, and that's something that, you know, you can feel rewarded about. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, show the skin.
Yep.
Yeah. Bravo! Bravo!